A public inquiry will hear evidence today from families who lost children in what's being called the worst treatment disaster in NHS history.
Documents seen by the BBC show 175 children were infected with HIV in the 1980s after being given contaminated blood during treatment for haemophilia.
One of the parents giving evidence this morning has been talking to our health correspondent, Jim Reid.
He's always been well behaved, full of life as usual, like little boys are, you know.
Linda's son Michael was just a toddler when she was told he had haemophilia, a genetic disorder which stopped his blood clotting properly.
He was always on the go, he always wanted to keep busy. The haemophilia would stop him sometimes, but he just learned to cope with it.
In 1982, here at Birmingham Children's Hospital, Michael was switched to a brand new treatment imported from the United States. But Factor VIII was made from blood donated by prisoners and other at-risk groups. Whole batches were contaminated with hepatitis and later HIV.
The doctor, of course, he said Michael is HIV positive, and he just come out with it as though he was talking about the weather outside, you know what I mean? On the way home, I had to tell my husband when we got in the car, and he was silent all the way home. We never spoke. It was such a shock, you know.
How did Michael react to being told that himself? Did he speak to you?
Well, he went very quiet. He went very quiet, and he said he didn't want any family to know. He never told his friends or anything, because he just wanted to be normal, see.
There is now a danger that has become a threat to us all.
Michael was diagnosed with HIV, aged 16, in 1986, just as this hard-hitting TV campaign was launched.
If you ignore AIDS, it could be the death of you.
Was he angry about what happened?
Yes. Oh, yes. He was. I mean, I tried to be so positive for him, to think that he wasn't going to pass away. And even in the hospital, the woman had her on one side and she said, you know, Michael's going to die. And I said, no, he's not, you know. Sorry. I've got a hank here. It's just, seems like yesterday still.
Michael died a week before his 26th birthday. He was one of 175 children infected with HIV after being given the same contaminated treatment.
Just couldn't believe what was happening, you know.
Today, Linda will give evidence to the public inquiry into the disaster.
I felt as though I needed to do it to help get to the bottom of it, because I think we all want to know why it was allowed to happen.
That long-running public inquiry is now just months away from concluding. Many families will finally be hoping for some answers, decades after their loved ones were infected. Jim Reid, BBC News.